Hi there, I am Suzanne Wagner, and I am with my dear friend Ann Maglinte, who is my neighbor down below me. And I live on the Mendocino coast, as many of you know. And Ann has been my savior in a million different ways as I came to Mendocino. And she is an amazing artist, and she has been teaching art and watercolor forever. And she's got a whole company where she has done Renaissance fairs, and she has done all sorts of things for Christmas, and aromatherapy things, and this is like the person that is super talented on so many levels. Like, she does a little bit of everything. But today what we're doing is I wanted to talk about her watercolor class. And the reason I wanted to do this interview is that my sister recently gave me an easel and paints, and I didn't know what to do at all with any of this. And everybody was like, call Ann, call Ann, call Ann. And I was like, oh my gosh, can I call Ann? And so then I call Ann, and she's like, oh my gosh, well, I'm putting together this class on watercolor. And it's going to be online, and it's so everybody can get it. And, especially in the pandemic right now,
yes,
that is so important to have a project to do with other people that engages sort of on a community level. And so I wanted to kind of introduce you all to my neighbor, my wonderful neighbor that has helped me so much as I've been traveling around the country, and she takes care of my animals and my hummingbirds and everything else. But also just to really talk about her class and how this is going on. And so I wanted to start with, like, you've been painting forever, right?
I have.
It's like she's been painting forever, right? And so, how long have you been painting? I mean, as long as you can probably think.
Right, about 10, I'd say. I started taking art lessons, and I always knew I was going to be a painter. Art was what I was really good at and what I loved to do. And so when I wasn't doing something like with my mother in the house or whatever, I'd be in my room painting and drawing and creating. I was always making things.
Well, and I love that you and your husband moved out to this Mendocino area because of a lifestyle, and that lifestyle was community, that lifestyle was art. This area is filled with artists on so many different levels, and you've got beautiful things to paint all around you, everywhere. And so you chose to be here to kind of share your gifts because you've been teaching, you've taught every grade. Right?
I have. Yes, when we moved to Willits, we were artists at the Renaissance Fair, and we also had a business called Victorian Scents, where we created all kinds of lines of potpourri and sachets and things like that. I was always a designer. And so I really wanted to kind of reach out to the community, and I started teaching children's art classes and teaching herbal classes because I'm also an herbalist. And because what a great place to be in Mendocino County with all of the natural herbs that are growing. So then I started illustrating the herbs and doing botanical illustration. And then people started asking me about classes. And so then I started teaching the classes. And then word kind of got around. And then I was actually asked through a grant if I would be an artist in residence at one of our local charter schools. And it was a whole program of teaching history through art.
Oh, wow.
And it was very exciting. Wow. And it was very well received. We had, I was there for a couple years, and then another year at another school. And I love working with children. I love painting with adults, but it's just so exciting to work with children and see their enthusiasm.
And their excitement as they discover their creative self and discover that they can do it.
Right.
And it's maybe not as hard as they think when they're younger. It's like, so do you think it's harder when we're older?
Yes, because everybody, we all have these stories that I hear from people about, oh, I was told by my first grade teacher that I really couldn't paint and I really shouldn't be doing this. Or my sister was the one that could paint, and my parents felt that I should do something else, and I was never encouraged to paint. So there's a lot of those things that happen that we're very judgmental of ourselves, and that's one thing that I really work on encouraging, and with positive comments in my classes, and my students really respond.
Yeah, I think that makes a difference. If the teacher believes in you and has faith in you and trusts you to experiment and try new things, it gives you courage to go forward, because you teach at the Mendocino College art too.
Yes, and so I get all kinds of people, some people that are very skilled artists, some people are professional dyers or clothiers, and they really want to learn about watercolor. I get people that have always been waiting until their retirement to start doing watercolor. So we start at the beginning. And I have people that study with me at the college for 15 years now.
Oh my gosh.
Because each year I come up with all kinds of new things. I love watercolor so much, and I love new techniques. And I share these new techniques with my students, and I think because I'm excited about them, they're excited, and they create beautiful things. And in just one semester, they find that they go from not painting at all to creating frameable work.
Wow. Well, and you also do like silk scarves, like you paint silk scarves, right?
Yes. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I started doing those because watercolor is all about the flow on the paper, and the same thing with silk. It's all about when you wet the silk and you put on the dyes, they flow. And so creating scarves, that would really accent a person's body type or face. I started doing clothing and jackets and things like that. And one of my favorite shows was at the Palo Alto Festival of the Arts.
Oh wow!
It was it was juried, and it was all artists, and it was just wonderful to be with a group like that. The quality was very high.
Well, and you've won awards for your art.
I have, yeah. I've exhibited at a number of watercolor shows, and I love exhibiting and seeing everything that's out there. It's really wonderful to see what people are doing with watercolor. Everybody's just kind of pushing the envelope and trying all kinds of mixed media and things. So that's something I've experimented with too, using different kinds of papers and gesso, pen and ink. There's so many things that you can do.
Wow, that's so interesting, yeah. So, I mean, you're going to teach this class, and so you've decided to put together a 6-week class.
Yes.
Right, and for watercolor specifically. Okay.
Right.
So, are you going to, like, give people an idea of what they need to be able to start? And so you give them, like, a list of what they need to get and all this kind of stuff, so they're ready for the class. And then you've got videos as well as paper that is like, that they've got a course curriculum, right?
Yes.
They've got a course curriculum to do it. And so how many classes a week are there?
So I'm going to start off with a 6 weeks course. And the beginning one, if you haven't had experience with watercolor, then you take beginning with watercolor. But you can also just decide to focus on something. So we're going to have a focus that would be on trees and foliage. We'll have another one that's going to be specifically on water, like painting the ocean, painting a waterfall. How about reflections? I mean, those can be difficult.
Right.
So all about water. We're going to have one about flowers. I love flowers, of course.
Yeah.
Botanical flowers, but then also irises in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
And then clouds and skies. You have such an amazing view, Lyra.
I have a great view right in front of us.
Yes, you do. And so trying to capture those clouds has been difficult for students, but I have a lot of different techniques that will allow you to be able to paint what you see.
Oh, that's exciting. Hopefully, I'll be able to figure out how to paint what I see. So now the class is starting in April, right?
Yes.
Okay. And but once they buy the class, they can take the class at their own pace, right?
Yes. And all of the videos are a lifetime accessibility. And I'm also going to be offering a Facebook group that will be something that they can show their work, they can get comments back. It forms a real watercolor community, and it really brings everybody together, especially with the pandemic, being just working on our studios by ourselves or working on your kitchen table, whatever you have, to be able to talk with other people about your work and to share and get ideas is really good. And then I also have a lot of really good information that I'll have in a downloadable PDF formula so that everybody will be able to then to download those, and that's going to really, I think, expand your knowledge of each subject. So you'll get downloadable media every week along with the lesson. Yeah,
that's going to be really fun. Now, so what's the cost of the class?
So the cost of the class is $120, and
for the 6 weeks.
Yeah, for the six weeks, and that will include, you'll get 12 videos.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
great,
and then all the other things.
All the other stuff too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's really fun. And so you'll be able to put your pictures up on the Facebook page and kind of show and show and tell a little bit.
Yes.
I think it's fun to kind of show and tell.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And to get feedback from other people about what they liked and what they didn't like.
Yeah.
I think that's always really exciting. So, Yeah, so this is Anne Maglinte. She's my wonderful neighbor, and she's also a super spiritual person. So all you spiritual people out there that are ready to like dive in to discover your right brain,
yes,
which she's really good at, right? Then sign up for her class, and they can find it on annemaglinte.com, or is there a special
and also my new YouTube channel.
You got a new YouTube channel.
Yes.
Is that under your name, Anne Maglinte?
Yes, I think so.
So you're like, I think so. You're like,
I was helping me. We're setting up our YouTube channel. It's very exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yes.
So ANNMAGLINTE.com.
Yeah, and we have wonderful videos. We have some free videos that we're going to be putting on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So just to kind of introduce you to my kind of work. And also, I'll have my contact information. So if people have any questions, I'd love to be able to communicate with you. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, and this is just the first of a series of videos, so stay tuned because we're going to do some more videos and we're going to show some art and
yes.
some different things. So thanks, everyone, for joining me. Bye.